We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. reassured the public that the funds to be put into the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund would be safe and used exclusively for very particular and accountable initiatives. The details from Marita Muwahe.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. allayed concerns about potential money laundering in connection with the proposed establishment of a sovereign wealth fund. In a press conference, Marcos states that while private funds will be used for the fund, it is not a savings account where people deposit money and leave it there. He said the multi-billion peso Maharlika Fund will act as the sovereign fund's starting capital.
The worry about the fund being used as a money laundering device implies that private monies will be put into the fund. But yes, private monies will be involved with the fund, but it's not a savings account that you just put it there and it stays there. No, what will happen is the Maharlika Fund will serve as the seed fund for the sovereign wealth fund, and the 40 billion, 30 billion, 40 billion, whatever it may come to at that point, is going to serve as a seed money for the fund. Now, whenever we come into partnership, we do a G2G with Japan, for example, or we do a PPP with some big outfit, then that is only the time that the monies come into the fund to be used for the program. Hindi yun basta o sige, bigyan niyo ako ng ilang bilyon dolyar, tapos lalagay lang yun, akong bahala na dyan. It's not like that at all. And in fact, even on our end, we will only deploy funds when there is a very specific project to be paid for.
The president also addressed remarks made by some lawmakers regarding the use of funds from government-owned and controlled corporations. He said such a practice is not permitted by law.
You cannot use funds of the GOCC. Pera ng gobyerno, what will the government spend? It was a proposal. It's not something that we have adopted. The GOCC's, there are several problems because I remember we had a little meeting, lasted about 15 minutes, and that was proposed. But after the meeting, I pulled Secretary Benjok aside, and we said, what do you think? Sabi niya, hindi yata pwede. And I said, it's too disruptive. Think, every single GOCC has its own charter. How will you will then revise all of those charters to align with the Maharlika Fund? That's not the purpose of the GOCC, number one. Number two, this is a lot of income that goes to the national government that will suddenly disappear. So that will be it will not disappear. It will go into the Maharlika Fund and cannot be used for the budget of the national government. And we have many things that we would like to appropriate in the coming years, and we will need those funds. So I don't think that's a viable proposition, at least not for us. I've seen, I know that there are other sovereign wealth funds that did it that way, but it's parang hindi bagay sa atin yun.
Marcos also reiterated his plea for Congress to carefully consider the Maharlika Investment Fund, saying that doing it incorrectly would be a very bad mistake. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri earlier said he expects that the upper chamber will pass the bill after Holy Week in March.
Ang message ko sa Senado, suriin ninyo ng mabuti para maganda yung batas natin. Suriin ninyo ng mabuti. Siyempre, sa mas maganda na matapos sa lalong madaling panahon. Pero hindi naman dapat imadali dahil napaka-importante lahat ng mga bawat salita na ilalagay mo dun sa batas na yun. May kabuluhan yun. Hindi mo basta pwedeng, tama na yan, okay na. Kailangan talagang pag-aralan na mabuti. Malaki naman ang tiwala ko sa mga senador. Alam naman nila yung kanilang trabaho. Pag-aaralan talaga nila na mabuti yan. And that's the process. Tama yun. Tama yun.
For the Pna Newsroom, I am Marita Muwahe.
Meanwhile, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said China and the Philippines have yet to reach a solution that would permit Filipinos to fish in the contentious West Philippine Sea. Marcos made this remark after the Philippine Coast Guard revealed that it is looking into an incident involving a Chinese Coast Guard vessel that allegedly chased away a Filipino fishing boat in Ayungin Shoal earlier this month. The event took place only a few weeks after Marcos and Chinese President Xi Jinping reached a deal during his visit to Beijing from January 3 to 5. Following the said incident, Marcos said the government immediately used its direct communication with China to address a misunderstanding in the disputed sea. However, Marcos said that this hotline should not deter them from submitting protests or letters of complaint. He also expressed hope that a consensus allowing Filipinos to fish in the West Philippine Sea would soon be reached between the Philippines and China.
Well, I think the actions that are needed are really from the Chinese side, and that is because we do not send Coast Guard boats into what we consider their waters or international waters. They stay within Philippine waters, and so that hopefully, as I said, the reason that it was important for me. Let me clarify what we talked about with President Xi. And it was very simple. I said we have to raise the level of discourse between the Philippines and China. Now, we already have a bilateral group that's working on issues about the South China Sea. Now, my proposal is that we bring that bilateral group to a higher level. It's a sub-ministerial level ngayon. So let's bring it to a ministerial level. And I will ask my foreign secretary to be part of it. I will ask my ambassador to China to be part of it. And I guarantee you that if there is any decision that needs to be made, either of those gentlemen can pick up the telephone and talk to me. And within 5 minutes, we will have a decision. I hope that China can do the same.
A one-stop shop Servilis on the Go was launched by the Department of Social Welfare and Development in partnership with various national government agencies in celebration of its 72nd anniversary. The activity aims to give its personnel convenient access to government hotline services and will run from January 23 to 27 at its central office. During the opening of the activity, the DSWD invited the Commission on Elections to showcase their Register Anywhere project. DSWD Officer in Charge Eduardo Punay expressed support for the COMELEC's efforts to make voter registration for the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections easy and accessible to the people. The COMELEC has opened a satellite registration booth for DSWD Central Office employees. Other participating government service providers include the GSIS, Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA, Philippine Identification System, Land Transportation Office, National Bureau of Investigation, and the Professional Regulation Commission or PRC. And in other news, the town of Silang, Cavite has officially broken the Guinness World Record for the longest candlelit relay on Sunday night. The town made the new record with 621 lit candles in 4 hours, beating India's record of 366 candles done in 2016. About 2,500 participants lined up from the town plaza to the new municipal building and hurdled stiff challenges to pull off the feat, including the strict Guinness Book of World Records guidelines. Official adjudicator Kazuyoshi Kirimura awarded the certificate to the municipality immediately after the event. Mayor Kevin Anarna also received the Guinness certificate, saying it was a hard-earned victory for his constituents. He said they attempted the world record to honor Silang's patron saint, who is also known as Our Lady of Candelaria. Anarna hoped that the world record would attract more tourists and boost the town's economic growth. Silang will hold a 3-day feast to honor its patron saint on February 1 to 3. And that is the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Newsroom. For more news content, visit our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We are also shown on the social media pages of the Presidential Communications Office and on Radio Pilipinas RP1. Stay tuned for more news updates. I am William Theo. We tell stories that inspire change.